The young girl in this story is named Lena. She grew up in a family deeply connected to horses. Her mother was a legendary horse rider whose grace, confidence, and remarkable talent amazed everyone who watched her perform. Sadly, a tragic accident took her life, leaving a lasting scar on the family. After that heartbreaking day, Lena's father refused to let his daughter have anything to do with horse riding. Even so, Lena never stopped looking up to her mother. She dreamed of becoming a skilled horse trainer just like the woman she admired most. During a train journey, she spotted a herd of wild horses racing freely across the open land. Their speed, beauty, and untamed spirit instantly captured her heart. As the horses began disappearing into the distance, Lena quietly walked toward the end of the train, trying not to let her nanny notice. When one magnificent horse ran close beside the train, she stretched out to touch it and nearly lost her balance. Thankfully, the train conductor grabbed her before she could fall. After arriving at her destination, she noticed a horse training arena nearby and rushed over with excitement. Watching the talented riders perform incredible tricks filled her with admiration and inspired her even more. When the show ended, one of the experienced riders recognized Lena. He warmly told her that her mother had once been one of the finest riders anyone had ever seen, and that everyone still respected her legacy. Before leaving, he handed Lena her mother's old scarf. Holding that precious memory only strengthened her determination to follow the same path. Not long afterward, word spread through town that a fierce wild stallion had been captured. Curious, Lena hurried to see it, and was shocked to discover it was the very horse she had seen running beside the train. A cruel wrangler tried forcing the horse into submission by dragging it with ropes, but the proud animal refused to surrender. Fortunately, the town's leader stepped in before things got worse, and ordered the horse tied safely to a wooden enclosure instead. Once everyone left, Lena secretly untied the ropes and gave the stallion a chance to move freely. The horse was full of energy and spirit, so she decided to call him Blaze. From that day forward, whenever she had the opportunity, Lena visited the corral to loosen his restraints and bring him food. Despite all her efforts, Blaze refused to trust her. Still, she never gave up. Every day she secretly took apples from home and offered them to him. Little by little, the horse changed. At first he wouldn't even let her get close, but eventually he became comfortable enough to eat from her hand. Even then, whenever she reached out to touch him, he would step away in fear. Everything changed one rainy afternoon when Lena visited him once again. This time, she gently reached out and finally managed to stroke his face. Blaze calmly walked closer and accepted the apple she offered. Lena couldn't hide her happiness. The following day she carefully approached him again, expecting him to pull away, but instead Blaze remained calm and showed complete trust in her. Encouraged by this progress, Lena tried riding him properly, but her first 2 attempts failed. Refusing to quit, she quietly climbed over the fence and waited for the perfect moment. Before Blaze realized what was happening, she leaped onto his back. Startled, the powerful stallion burst forward at full speed with Lena holding on tightly. They raced across the land until they reached the edge of a steep cliff. Without hesitating for even a second, Blaze jumped across the gap. The others watching from behind were too frightened to follow and could only watch as horse and rider disappeared into the distance. Although everyone else stopped chasing, Lena wasn't ready to let Blaze go. That night she secretly slipped out of the house and headed into the forest. Guided by glowing fireflies, she eventually found him. Blaze introduced her to his herd. At first the wild horses were cautious and kept their distance, but after seeing Blaze accept her, they slowly trusted her as well. Just then, a group of hunters suddenly appeared, determined to capture the entire herd and sell them for money. The horses fought as hard as they could, but despite their efforts, most of the herd was trapped and loaded onto a train. Only Blaze managed to escape. He chased after the moving train with everything he had, but no matter how fast he ran, he couldn't catch it. Knowing he couldn't rescue his family alone, Blaze returned to Lena and desperately pleaded for her help. Realizing they needed more people, Lena hurried back to town and gathered her closest friends. Together they followed the railway tracks through forests and over rolling hills until they finally caught up with the hunter's train. Blaze became impatient and rushed ahead on his own to rescue his family, but the hunters quickly threw ropes around him and captured him as well. Lena and the others immediately continued the chase. Eventually they reached the coast, where they discovered the horses were about to be loaded onto a large ship. Without wasting another second, everyone rushed toward the train. Lena climbed aboard and carefully ran across the tops of the train cars until she finally found Blaze. She quickly climbed onto his back, and together they broke free from the train. By then, however, the rest of the horses had already been placed inside the huge loading platform that was preparing to carry them away. As the massive loading system was about to begin moving, Lena guided Blaze onto the roof of a wooden transport crate. Timing everything perfectly, she launched herself through the air and landed safely on the moving platform. The hunters panicked and rushed after her. While Blaze fiercely fought them off, Lena battled her way through with all her courage and determination. She defeated the lead hunter, reached the heavy iron gate, and managed to unlock it. The trapped horses immediately burst out to freedom. Together they leaped into the water and escaped from their captors. Soon afterward, Lena's father arrived at the scene. Instead of scolding her for risking everything, he looked at his daughter with pride, realizing she had inherited the same fearless spirit that once made her mother so extraordinary. In the end, Lena shared an emotional farewell with Blaze, allowing him and his family to return to the wild where they truly belonged. As the herd disappeared into the endless forest, Blaze galloped freely toward the horizon, carrying with him the same unbreakable spirit that had inspired Lena from the very beginning.